we have a player with a lot. We're probably going to just read a couple of sentences, see if we can figure this out. But all right, we have a player, and then we have a response. Obviously from Mexico, he is a no longer a dev, but obviously he still has a lot of knowledge for the game, so pretty good to check out. Alrighty, so the player states, keep in mind that this is just an example, and the idea behind the suggestion is to make smaller the gap between low and high prosperity fiefs to help the AI in late game while avoiding money inflation late game at the same time. Okay, so here's a proposal over here. Alright, so he did some tests that he was increasing taxes from 30 to 42%. Okay. So then he started increasing starting prosperity for some settlements and changing the tax calculation formula. Okay. So basically, the more taxes, the lower your prosperity would grow, or the slower it would grow. Something of that nature. Okay. So Mexico responded saying, reason behind a nerf is not money inflation. At some lords, there was a money inflation in all of the lords' money. Okay, so it's pretty much saying it wasn't just some inflation that some lords were seeing. It was pretty much the overall economy was seeing a lot of inflation. Then he says, for example, let's say at early game, average lord is 50K. At year 10, 20, 30, average lord money should not be 80K or 100K. We should keep average around 50K. That is true. Okay. So he's saying that the inflation just keeps going up as time goes on. It should stay pretty constant. You know what I mean? There should be, some lords getting richer, some lords, getting poorer, but at the same time, it should be kind of, you know what I mean? There should be an average there. Alrighty. I guess for balance, right? Then he says, I do not know how average lord money time graph is at 1.6.1, but I think I left balanced without inflation or deflation, but not sure, of course, we need to see graph. Okay. Then he says, if some clans go bankrupt at initial years, most of the games, and devs can give 1 to 2 more fiefs to these economically weak clans taken from rich clans so they can give extra 1,000 prosperity to towns. They have, if they want to balance, on making all clans balanced is not something we need badly. That is true. Okay, so what he's saying is obviously they could help it out. They could help the economically weak clans out. You know what I mean, by giving them extra prosperity to the towns that they have. Giving them a little bit more fiefs as well. But at the same time, he states that it doesn't have to be completely balanced as well, because then obviously it'll make kind of for stale gameplay if you think about it. Because having a little diversity, you know what I mean, it does do well. If every clan was doing good, the game would kind of be. Everybody would be playing the same way. But, if you have, like, the different classes and stuff like that, it would be kind of different gameplay, more unique gameplay. Then he says, some clans can go bankrupt early, 75% of the game, 75% of the time. That is not that big major problem. I accept it as a problem, but minor. Okay. By the way, if most clans labeled as poor encyclopedia, maybe devs can change labeling limits, like changing poor to average limit from 40K to 50K. Not sure where the limits are at 1.6.1. Okay, so pretty much what he's saying is it's not the biggest deal. It is a problem, but not that big of a problem. I'm guessing, obviously not priority. And then he says, real problem behind money inflation is total prosperity in game world starts with 180K, 55 towns times 3,200 average of prosperity per town. But it rises to 270K, where the average per town is 4,800. Okay, in 20 years, because of surplus food effect plus built projects, usually prosperity change is positive number, good for player to see progress at his towns, bad for inflations. So total fief income becomes 1.5 in late game. So probably if you try to draw a graph of some of the lords' money, at first it will go down a bit, then rise slowly. If lords have more money, they also they spend also more. So evenly prosperity is 1.5 in late game. I do not think there will be a huge increase at lords' money at 1.6.1. But if devs increase taxes, there can be significant inflation. Prosperity increase can slow down somehow. Maybe this can add some prosperity sinks. Random events, some new quests can reduce prosperity if they are not solved, etc. Okay, so pretty much what he's stating is prosperity, as the in-game time goes on, it will almost always go up. It might slow down in the beginning, but it will always just keep going up. And in late game, inflation is up 1.5. Okay. He states there's some stuff you can do. Obviously, you can do like maybe like a decay of prosperity at some point, a prosperity sink, kind of like, you know what I mean, just like a quick drop. Random events that can cause it, quests that could cause it, and then you can balance it out that way as well. Alrighty, we'll see what they do. You know, there's no confirmation of anything like that. Obviously, we are having tax control, you know, being implemented, where you can kind of like control how much tax, is required from towns, which does increase your loyalty if you tax them less, and decrease your loyalty if you tax them more. But obviously, you know, it will also have, I don't know if it's directly, but indirectly changes to prosperity as well as your loyalty goes up and down.